Well, I already see a lot of legendary, so that's probably not going to get upgraded too much, right?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like some of it is gonna get Star Forced, and then like re-legendaried again. I'll tell you which ones at least.
Right,
'Cause
right, yeah, yeah.
I remember, yeah. I
The
remember.
superior pieces and stuff.
It's mainly the Absos because like when I started doing the Absos, it was like right as I start getting them.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that event that was there for the discount on the cubes?
Yeah. Like the
Was
big
it
packs.
like May? Yeah, with the packs like May or something around May, I think, right? Or April.
May have been. I have
There was a
a bad
cube
memory when
discount.
it comes to that stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the one I wanted to take advantage to just get a little bit of damage so I can start doing content.
Mm-hmm.
And then like now when I saw like there's the 30% and then followed by the DMT, I was like might as well get my Abso stuff to 15, 16 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Then just, you know, with the DMT reapply all the legendary potential.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as they're not already like perfect lined, that makes sense. You know, if you.
Yeah, it's just like one or two
Yeah.
lines of strength on most of them.
Yeah, then it's
It's
fine. Yeah,
not
that's
that
fine.
yeah, it's not that big.
Yeah, well, in the beginning, it's like I think everyone in the beginning looks at legendary, looks at legendary potential and the potential lines, and is like, oh my god, that's what I need. You know, all that percent, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's true. But once you have like a decent amount of the percentages, you need to come in with that higher star force to, because then comparatively, that's gonna be way more valuable.
Especially for a paladin.
Yeah, I was. What do you mean for the because of the final damage or?
Because of like we have the lowest damage of all the classes, so to start soloing like most of the further content, it just takes a longer time than every other class that can.
Yeah, because
You
you're
know what I
more
mean?
built around like survivability. You mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you do have some. You have some decent burst though, right?
The thing is, as soon as we're out of the burst, you know, which is like as soon as you're out of the Grand Guardian,
Yeah.
it's like you're just tickling stuff, you know,
Yeah.
just poking stuff.
And throwing a hammer sometimes, but yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Mjolnir, yeah. But outside of the like the burst cycle, it's like just hoping. Yeah, like, have you seen like some of those end game paladins when they were trying to do Genesis as a paladin? How they were failing in Phase 3 Lucid?
I did not know. I didn't follow it that closely.
Yeah, it is. It's rough. Like these are people, you know, trying to liberate. Like these people with Genesis and stuff. Like you'd pretty much expect them to have like really good strength at that point, stat wise, and Star Force, and they're still failing that Phase 3 damage check.
Damn. And that was before. Was that before they got the 4th V or after?
That was after, yeah. That was after.
Oh,
That was
yikes. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
I think they did buff a lot of classes with that in mind, though. I think they give Mihal a big buff.
Paladin
for
is
that.
gonna get the buff soon, like the rework stuff,
Mhm.
or like the what do you call it? The buff to the Echo Divine and like all of the skills, but that hasn't happened yet.
Right, that's
been
the
mentioned, though.
late
It's been
August,
mentioned.
so hopefully after all the Neo stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you already started.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. Well, you want to officially start it
Well,
now,
I guess
or?
it's officially 1 hour later. Yeah. I will
Yeah,
start it now, I
exactly.
guess,
Yeah. So you're streaming Maple too? Well, not right now, but like in general.
Oh yeah, in general, I stream Maple most of the time. Yeah.
Yep. So how's that?
It's mainly for my own recordings, like to have a play through. I guess you want to say.
Right.
Right.
What you want to do it for
Just
YouTube
like
or what?
documented. No, I used to do the YouTube thing until the affiliate, and then we can't do that anymore with affiliate.
Oh, you mean like streaming on YouTube? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But like making videos for YouTube, still
Nah,
like.
I don't do most of that now. I'm just too lazy to do editing and stuff like that. Besides, I'm bad at it.
Yeah, I was for a while too, but what I've noticed is that for like growth on Twitch, you need to do YouTube, especially if you're
I've
in a
noticed
niche
that
like
too, I've
MapleStory. Like you have to.
Notice that when I'm playing like when I was playing Warframe back at the in the day, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge.
Yeah.
have your content. That's actually how I discovered you, like for real.
Yeah, exactly. So I see the case in point.
Yeah, exactly.
If you do want to like do it a lot, take it seriously. That's the one thing I probably neglected for too long.
I actually like told everybody that was all of my viewers like, I'm not taking the Twitch serious. I'm just doing it for fun because you guys are like company while I'm playing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Just keeping myself company while I'm playing. That's pretty much it. They think that the content is for them, but it's the content is just
for you.
them chatting with me. Yeah, the content is everybody chatting with me, I guess.
Yeah. That's a different thing that you're looking for from it, then, yeah.
Yeah, no. My real life job is just is enough. I'm not into fucking Twitch a job. I already have too much of a headache anyways.
Okay, good. Or not good, but I mean, clear. That's understood. So, what can I do for you today? Like, can I see what level you are? You're 250?
Yeah. 250, but like if you look at my gear, it's way back in like it's way behind, I guess you want to say.
Yeah, it's kind of what in my opinion, like how I approach my characters now is a little bit mismatched. In like that some things seem. I don't know if you saw yesterday. I was working on my Adele because of the DMT.
I didn't.
Like for my Adele, I moved into the full superior set. I moved into the Sweetwater Iron Face, and I got the reinforced ring, and
I haven't even
basically
done any of the CPQ stuff.
Basically that stuff, but I don't have Abzo yet. So like compared to that, you're like completely the opposite.
Yeah, no. I literally haven't even done any of the apps, like not in this the Sweetwater stuff, CPQ stuff. So, it's not like I'm not over exaggerating when I say my Paladin is behind.
Mm-hmm.
Behind.
Okay.
I've only recently gotten into a Will and Lucid party.
Right.
Only because like they were missing a person, and then when I joined with them, they
saw
I'm not like fit.
Don't do that to yourself, okay? It's not like you're the pity sixth person just to fill.
But when they saw that was actually not bad mechanically, it's just like I don't do damage. It's just a support class.
Right.
You know, they kept me around. You know, like a permanent slot basically.
Okay, cool. You made yourself undeniable.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good.
So that's why I'm trying to get better, so that I can help them move on to the harder version of the bosses.
Yeah, that's the plan, right? Once you're at 250, you don't really need the levels past that point, but you do need the damage output and the mechanics. Make sure that everyone's on point, on the same page, and then move on from the normal bosses to the harder ones.
So it's mainly I wanted to know where I'm stuck to work on it, and then I had some like things in mind that I wanted to do. Everybody's telling me it's a bad idea. I just wanted to get your opinion on them. What do you think? That is about, you know, I'll explain it to you like.
Yeah, we can start there. I mean, because it seems like you're already pretty far.
You're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Okay. I'm assuming you have a lot of hypersets in EXP?
It's a mixed bag, actually.
Yeah.
I have 10 in EXP, I have 10 in Arcane Power, and I think I have 10 in everything except for attack, strength, and dex. Dex is like 2, attack and strength are like around 4.
Yeah, screenshot here, but just because it's not scrolled down, but it seemed like your critical damage is at 8, and IDs here at 3, damage at 7, and boss damage at 3. So that's why I'm like, there's a lot of points missing.
Oh no,
there, so it's got to be down
now.
there.
They're at 10.
Oh, okay,
they're at 10 now.
Mm-hmm.
I had like 15 on EXP. But,
yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, because you were trying. Yeah, no, that's fine. So you already know about like optimization between mobbing and bossing for the hyperstat points. When you're grinding it out.
I do, but I don't necessarily follow it, sadly. But yeah, I do about it.
Okay.
Like I need to reset for bossing and stuff like that. But like recently, since I've taken all the 5 points away from EXP, because you know that last 5 points are like so expensive, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I was able to like max out everything else. Like not max out, sorry, but when I say
get
that,
to 10.
I mean, like 10. Yeah, get to 10. Get to 10.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a point where. Yeah, if you take a hit of like 2.5% or something when you're training, which means in the total, all the percentages combined is not even 5% of everything, but you don't have to reset it every single time you do different content. That
Exactly,
utility-wise,
exactly.
that's a lot more value for utility. It's over 250. So yeah, so well, it seems like you have an idea on where you're stuck, but do you want like confirmation or like extra?
Well, no, I
explanation on
actually don't know where I'm stuck.
that? Okay.
Like, okay, so right now, as it stands, the difference between what you have in the pictures is, assuming DMT happens tomorrow for me,
Mm-hmm.
I will have everything at least 15 stars and most of the stuff at 17,
Mm-hmm.
minus maybe like 4 items that are at like 15, right? Which is the 4 pieces of Abso, excluding the weapon. So glove, shoes, cape, and shoulder. So those will be at 15. Everything else will be at 17.
Yeah.
And I am still in full drop gear. I don't have damage gear yet.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from a Dom pendant, which is still at unique, which I plan to get to legendary, and a superior Galax ring. Everything else that you see on in the picture,
Mm-hmm.
it's just all drop and meso gear, 100% and 80%.
Yep. Okay.
There's another thing.
Yeah.
That people said it's a bad idea. Specifically one person, and then he's like, when you're with Scardaddy tomorrow, just ask him this question. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking of getting a second set superior for damage and like leaving whatever I have right now as DP as the drop in meso. So whatever I'm using right now, as I said, is already rolled for drop and meso, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was just building up enough to get another set that will be my like damage superior set.
So
That'd be a bad idea?
do you find that you're close to that?
Yeah. I'm like missing one now. I'm just missing the what's the piece? The earring?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter which one.
Yeah, the earring. I'm missing the earring.
So the main reason why someone would say that it's a waste is, well, the first part is that the base stats of the superior gear is actually pretty bad. It doesn't.
Oh, okay.
It's not actually that good. The only reason why we want it is because of the 4-set bonus, and that makes it worth it. But all things considered, it's kind of a hassle to get it to high star force, right? Because of the rarity that they have. I mean, because of having to transfer over and all that gunk. That already makes it kind of high risk.
When you say high star force, how much are we talking about?
I think we're looking like over 20.
Oh, that's the other thing. Is it okay to stop at 17?
It is fine. Like, and everyone does that for a while. But if you keep playing, eventually, there's going to be like pressure building up in the sense that you will still be making more money, and there will be nowhere for that money to go unless you have backups. And that's kind of why the idea of having like secondary.
At the end, like towards the end, right?
It depends what the end is, right? For some people, that's like in the middle of the game for them. For other people, that's more near the end.
I'm planning to go all the way. I'm planning to go all the way to 300.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then
so
that's
I want to know
like,
when is the point where I should, at this point, I need to get more than 17.
Yeah, so let's get like the general picture. So like you were going to be at like all the stuff that you have now 17. It's drop meso combined gear. You were trying to get the transfer over the Abzo, get all that stuff to 15. Redo the potentials. There's like, depending on your current budget, that is one of the options. The other one could be to like go for very high and switch over. The other one could be to, if you're close-ish to it or you have more patient, Abzo to 17, save up on full droplets, and then near the winters to switch it into full Arcane.
My plan was to stay at 17 and then until I have my Arcanes, of course.
Yeah, okay, so that's fine.
Would that be a bad thing?
No, that would be a good idea. But to circle back to like the accessories and stuff, and to like put everything in like full perspective, once everything is 17 and it's like 2-line legendary, at that point, it'll kind of depend on the events, right? And it already kind of does, but it kind of depends on the events, on what's upcoming that will make it so that makes your decisions easy. Like, this is where you need to spend your money, kind of thing. And then for like, if it's mass cubing event or something, you would want to go hard specifically on your accessories first, most likely, unless there's still work to do on your weapon, secondary, and emblem, right? Because that's where the big damage comes in. So the priority in general for like the cubing and perfecting your stuff is like weapon secondary emblem first, but you don't go all the way on those because going all the way on those is very, very expensive. And then usually it's the heart, then all the accessories, then the high level gear like the Abso stuff. Then you probably circle back to WSE to perfect it, and then it's like the CRA stuff because of all the junk lines that they have. It's like the general order of prioritizing.
I was completely doing it wrong then, because I started with the CRA.
A lot of people do that because
it's gonna stay with.
Yeah, it's
whatever. Like might as well do it first.
But because it's what you're gonna stay with, and because you have a lot of backups, it is the first priority. But when it comes to star forcing, not when it comes to the cubing. So it is perfectly fine to have like 21-star CRA with unique potential. That makes more sense financially, and to have like 17-star Abso with legendary and maybe even 3-line.
Oh, okay.
Like that's.
Well then, yeah. I was actually like black cubing at that point for the Abso. Not Abso, sorry. CRA. Like I was actually black cubing CRA to, done with it.
Yeah,
I guess, like,
financially that would be inefficient. Yeah.
Okay.
They have a lot of junk lines, so the chance that you get something good there on the potential is really low. But comparatively, you get a lot of backups. So Star Force wise, they're a perfect position because you don't have to safeguard. You can just go full send during an event, and get those hot Star Force gains. So the general move would be like, okay, you get all of the episode of 15, then later you get all of the episode of 17. You make sure it's all 2 lines again. So I would side with the person, whatever they said to ask me, is to not go for the superior set as drop, but to keep them as items for later if you go for high Star Force, because it's a very long process to get all those backups. You need coins forever, and what you eventually want to do is get the items, like basically do the same thing you're doing now to Abso, but then for the next step. So in the past, you would have done that for Abso as well. Get like level 150 gear up to 21 stars, change it to Abso, and then do the same thing for the accessories where you can. And then when everything is 20, the next step would be to get everything from 20 to 21, with of course a small chance to boom. And then if something does boom, that's where those backups come in. But now we don't do that for Abso anymore because Arcane is so achievable, right? So after your...
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So after your next situation, the next build-up would be to specify the functionality, I guess, of the accessories, and go for 2 distinct sets between damage and drop meso combination. That would be the next step. The next step after that is to start boosting your CRA stuff. And getting that up to higher stars, and that will probably include the hat, just because when you get to the full Arcane set, you go back to the CRA hat.
Okay, I actually sent you a picture of that. I have 2 hats, right?
Yeah. I saw it. Yeah,
I
the Abso.
had the fake.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I had the fake fake Arcane. And that's when I was working on. I actually tiered up that Abso hat a little bit. I didn't use it for a lot of time, but yeah, it was there. I don't need to touch that hat anymore, though, right? The hat is just the Abso hat, no more, right?
Yeah. Have you? What are your numbers? 8.44 24. 300. I'm trying to see if you switching to the weapon and the CRA hat is technically better for mobbing, but the opposite might be better for bossing, maybe.
Well, the mobbing is definitely not the Abso weapon, like in terms of the gear, right? the damage range, right, for mobbing. The stuff I have right now on is the better for mobbing.
Yeah, with the
thing is, like,
with the Abso Saber, right?
Yeah, with the Abso Saber.
Yeah.
When I switch to the Arcane weapon and the Abso hat, full say it would be better for mobbing, even if I'm losing like 1,000,000 in range.
In mobbing or bossing, you mean, right?
Though.
In bossing?
No, bossing.
Yeah, because of the boss damage line, right?
But
yeah,
isn't there still a right now I'm getting the boss damage from 2 sets. basically, right?
Yeah.
From ABSO and CRA.
Yeah. Well, you might even still be getting a little bit from the other one. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, you only have 4 pieces. Yeah, never mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I do the ABSO hat with the arcane weapon, I lose. It's correct that I gain maybe 5% extra boss damage from using the arcane weapon itself. I lose. So basically, I just gain an additional 5%, but I lose like 1 million in damage range.
Yeah, that's
boss damage versus 1 million in damage range. It's just, I don't know. Sounds that not much of a difference to me. Like, or it actually sounds like a loss.
Well, do you not have the shoes right now?
Shoes.
Good. Well, in the picture you're wearing snowshoes, but if you...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was doing flag race.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought. No worries. But
I was forced into a flag race at the time.
But if the idea is that you use the hat instead of CRA and you use the arcane weapon, then you have both of the boss damages, right? So it's not like a 5 difference, but it's a 35 difference.
But I lose my CRA's 30% though, right?
Well, that's not
for CRA.
No, that's not 30%. It's a percentage HP and a percent flat attack. The 30% is from 4 set CRA, and you don't have 4 set anymore. You only have 3 set.
Oh.
So the trade-off is you lose 50 attack and I believe 10% weapon, 10% HP and MP, and you gain 30 weapon attack. No, 20 I think. Yeah, 20 weapon attack. So you
20,
lose.
I think, yeah.
So you lose 30 attack, but you gain 30% boss, and 30 boss is just more valuable than 30 attack. So the combination would be Abzo hat, and then the 4 other Abzo pieces that you have, plus the arcane weapon for bossing. But I think for mobbing, indeed, it's better to do the CRA hat and the saber right now.
Okay, so you would think it would be a better damage for bossing to do the fake arcane.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah. Especially because like if you showed me now that you already had like 800 damage or something in your window with the current range, then probably wouldn't be, because you get diminishing results and everything. But you're like around 300, so I think it's still very valuable to add lines of boss damage.
If you're talking about the boss damage, or are you talking about the boss damage?
Yeah, damage bonus and boss damage together.
Mine is around 230 when I'm fully like fully boss gear and links and legions. It's 230.
Yeah, so you're at like 400, a little bit over 400% total damage, probably. Yeah, there's like situations where people are more like around 1,000, and then the difference might be, then how much range you're losing might be way more valuable comparative to how much percentage damage you're gaining.
Because diminishing returns at that point.
Yeah.
The percentages then.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I'm taking that into account. Like not exact science, of course. Like I don't know exactly how those numbers work.
Yeah. Like there's no one-to-one comparison for those.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of hard to do. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why the damage percentage numbers are not in the flame score, because like there's it's so different between all the classes that you can't really put a value on that.
Right. I don't know. Maybe I am jumping ahead in like categories. Maybe you. Because I've seen your previous sessions, you like to go one by one, and I'm like skipping ahead or something. Just because I forget stuff, so I just want to get them out of my head, and then if you want to go back like to the beginning and go one by one, then yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, yeah, we could do that. But like, I guess the general lines of progression of where you move. So what is the? I don't know if you were writing it down or if you were thinking about it. Like, what was the last thing we mentioned? The new accessories, and then the CRA up?
CRA star forcing, yes.
Yeah. So the next step after that would probably be to reevaluate what you're doing. The next step after that would probably just switch into like a real arcane weapon. And
so like
and
as soon as I
can. Yeah, pretty much, because you have the CRA pieces to keep the set going. So.
Here's another thing I was thinking too, and like this is where I needed confirmation. I was thinking, since I have the fake arcane, maybe I can start by getting all the other 4 pieces of arcane and then get the weapon last.
You could do that.
Then I will still get the benefit of the 5 set sooner.
Yeah, and chance of maybe a drop by the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Is that okay to do?
That is also okay to do if you want to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Some people are just like kind of itching to buy it right now because they're like, I could technically get it.
I'm like very patient, so
yeah. Okay, then it's fine. Yeah. Because if you were like itching, I would say like fucking go for it, because it's a huge damage boost, and you can, because you could see the difference between the Abso and the Arcane, and that's when you have this kind of potential versus that potential, and then the range difference is this small. But imagine the other potential on the first item, and then the range difference, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like 150 weapon attack, and that's like at 15
and the
stars.
Flame, and the flame.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like,
well,
even,
exactly.
Even the flame that you can see right now on the fake Abso is like, it's edging out the Abso weapon that's there, you know. Even though that's like not a really good flame, but still.
Yeah, well, exactly. Because if you're patient, that's fine.
One attack with that, and it still beats it with like crappy potential because of the fake Arcane crappy potential, you know.
So that means that you would need not all, so like 4 items worth of droplets, so like 106. I keep forgetting what number it is. 104, no, 12. 9, 12, 108.
Oh, it's a young panda. He's in chat right now.
So 432, yeah. So 432 in that is.
Yeah, a young panda.
432 in total, and you're now at 260, 240-ish.
For which ones?
Well, in total, right? Because we can exchange them now, so it doesn't matter which ones.
Oh, like the droplets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what have you already bought out?
I haven't bought the event yet. No, not yet. No.
Neither one? Not the stones, not the meso ones?
Neither. No, I was buying the ones in the core, the new
core shop.
The bossing ones. Yeah, the bossing ones.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, because there's not much else there to buy in that shop anyway.
Nothing else to buy. It's just useless stuff there.
Might as well go for the droplets. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's fine. I'll definitely buy those out as much as you can. So for the meso ones, so the idea is like if you do want to switch, and I do get that, you probably still want to switch them all at the same time, right? To get the set bonus to overcome whatever you're doing, and you also don't want to overinvest too quickly, which would make it like you're already investing now in an Abso to bring the Abso up to 17, but if you start like working on the Abso at the same time and already on the upgrade right after that, you start investing in both, you're slowing yourself down there. So you could technically make the pieces if you want to, because it's not like those droplets and anything get made for anything else. But but then you just have the items in your inventory, and then I don't know if you have like a untradeable 50% temporary e-pot, you can start throwing stuff on there, I guess, to get some value out of those, because you typically only get those if you don't have anything to use it on, though. So
so I can start buying the Arcanes, which I can get now, right?
Yeah, since you only started to do Will and Lucid recently, it's probably that's going to be important to do those.
Actually,
How close is your party like to doing the hard versions? Because that's when you get way more of those droplets as well.
They're actually very strong, and I'm just weak. So
okay.
They're like up and down there, but I think I'm more on the downside.
Yeah. So
and they're like kind of ready for the hard soon.
Okay. Have they already done like trial runs or like test runs? Or?
No. Because the normal party is recent. Like the normal party just got formed. Without regard of their strength, they were just like, okay, because they have another hard party and then another normal party, so they were making an additional one.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. So I was like we're just starting in normal, right? And if they move ahead to hard, then I'm definitely gonna fall behind and not be able to do the bosses.
And how's
as of right now, I guess.
How's the will runs going? You feel like those are going well?
Time wise, takes us like 15 minutes, maybe.
Okay.
Something like that. I think like with the fact that we have to actually wait for tests, 15 minutes seem good for me.
You can't really do it that much faster because of the time gate. Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to so I guess we're not immediately going to go to the Arcane weapon to make it, but you will still want to equip it, right? So you have a one-handed now. And because of the changes and everything, are you eventually, what weapon are you going to aim for? Are you going to go for two-handed mace because of the multiplications?
The thing is that like people have been saying that it's not necessary they will translate the same in GMS because GMS have different attack like caps, speed caps, something. Didn't quite understand what they meant. It just I believe they were saying that whatever happens for attack speed change in KMS might not directly translate to the same in GMS basically.
Yeah, so we have 2 ranks higher that are capped, so we have to take that into account when it comes to possible changes that might be coming.
And then like I heard also that they are reworking one-handed in KMS to balance them out with the new change for two-hand.
Yeah, so basically I think what the goal was with everything was just to make two-handed and one-handed just equally viable, and to not make one like obviously better, just not to skew the value of the drops and the value of the items and just shape the meta too much, and that people can just do what they want. The problem is when they added the attack speed, the whole goal of that was just to make it so that one-handed and two-handed
bring up two-handed together.
Yeah, so it's like roughly the same damage output, and it makes it not as like brain dead, like you have to pick this one. If you pick the other one, you're basically stupid. Kind of meta prescription.
So I don't have to switch to the two-handed, right?
Well, so what that did for GMS was like, well, if that's true, if that's going to happen because of how attack speed works for us, what that basically means that two-handed will be way better because of the extra attack speed, the higher multipliers, and everything. So then everyone was like, well, shit, now we have to drop our one-handed, all of the money we invested in the shield, all of that stuff, and make a new weapon. Some people already liberated. So, but then
for now, I'm even when I get to the part where I have to do the liberation, I'm not gonna rush it. I'll wait for it to see what they do, basically.
Yeah. So, well, then what KMS did was that they saw that actually made what they were trying to prevent was that, like, oh, everyone should always go one-handed. Basically what happened is, well, now everyone should just go two-handed.
Everybody's just going two-handed.
Which was also not what they wanted.
It just backfired.
KMS, yeah. So then they changed that with changing the multiplier on one-handed, so that basically now for KMS they're roughly equal. But what that means for us, if for KMS they're roughly equal, what that means for us is that two-handed is still going to be slightly better.
Yeah, one is still going to be better than the other.
Because of the ranks of attack speed. Yeah, and that's going to affect that more. So it basically means for anyone in the current position of a hero, of a paladin, of you, is that if you are very heavily invested right now in one-handed, like let's say your inner-ability is already perfect, let's say you already have a 20-star shield with like really, really good potential, like 3 useful lines, and you already have the one-handed, you can basically stay one-handed, and it's not going to be bad. It's not going to be worth switching all that over for like the 0.4% final damage or something change that it is. But what it does mean is that if you're not completely done yet, which you're in that situation, right? Like you have a 17-star shield.
I'm just starting. Like I have nowhere. Like I'm open to places. You know?
Exactly. So if you can pick, and you already have the other secondary at legendary as well.
That's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was planning for. Like, okay, I'll keep this. I'm actually about to also get the hero one too, so that I can like have it.
Yeah.
In case of going to hero to liberate or like to do whatever bosses that I can't do as a paladin because of lack of BA, I guess.
So you know what weapon you're going for then, right?
No, weapon specific. No, but it has to be a sword. Yes, it's not a blunt weapon.
Yeah,
that's your question.
So so it sounds to me like you're going for a two-handed sword.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm just saying, just in case it becomes better in GMS as well. Like the changes don't translate to GMS with the restrictions. I mean, like for example, what if they put the up to two-handed sword in GMS, but at the same time they reduce the attack speed to bring it in par with the one-handed? If that makes sense. So it will be in the same situation as KMS in that case.
Oh, you're talking about like the general attack speed nerfs.
General attack speed in GMS.
I don't think they'll ever do that.
Down to I'm just saying, like, just in case.
I have
my contingencies, you know.
For sure. But I don't think they'll ever do that because the game will feel horrible if they do that. It's like, you know, you're just like letting everyone It's like basically you're letting everyone compete on steroids like all the time, and then you're like, okay, now we're gonna outlaw steroids, and everyone's like, well, I feel like I feel like a paperweight now.
That's not the first time they've done something like that. Right?
No,
like,
but if you've ever played without like using your green pot and your decent speed infusion,
I've always played without the green pot. Always.
Yeah, well,
like, that is
once you start, you never go back. Okay, that's horrible. It's horrible to ever move back in that. There's just no way. Everything just feels
that's why
horrible.
I'm staying away from the steroids and the drugs, man.
Well, now we know why you're lacking damage, okay? Because you're because you're not roiding.
It is probably
Join us.
One,
roid like us.
One of the reasons.
Do it.
It is probably one of the reasons that green.
Well,
pot.
I mean, I guess as a paladin, you're not 100% necessary to, because you've got those hammers floating around you, and you've got your big bursty skill is a hold down.
Yeah, not affected.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not as big, I guess, for you. But I mean, if you're mobbing and you have to cycle through your other skills, or you have to use your
well, for mobbing, it's definitely useless because I'm already like swapping between charges, and it's mainly spamming my hammer. You know.
Yep.
Well, does make
which
the
one?
animation faster.
Spamming which hammer? I mean, you have like 3 hammers to spam.
Heaven's Hammer. It makes the animation faster, yes.
Yeah.
But like, it's an 8-second cooldown, anyways.
Yep. Or you can like jump, throw it, and maybe you can move again by the time you land, something like that.
Yeah. I was already able to do that with the inner ability, though.
Yeah.
So.
Well, so what I think, and
we'll
have to see the actual maths and see everyone figure it out. But what I think will happen is that we'll want to go for two-handed with the regular secondary, especially in your situation since you're not as deeply invested into one-handed yet. So what I think will be the weapon that you were hoping for drops to get, and will eventually make what I think will be the two-handed sword. I think.
Okay. So that's also better that I don't buy the weapon first.
Yeah, which technically also means if you... I don't know to which extent.
Then if I get a one-handed or a two-handed, I could just use that then, right? Or no?
So, well, I wouldn't use that immediately. I would, like, hold off. Like, if you want to make sure that it's, like, definitely legit, then just wait until you hear, like, people figure out what's better. But not so much just what's better, but how much better it is, right? That's the important part.
Yeah.
If it's like, oh, this is 0.3% final damage more, but you're already invested more in one side, then fuck that. Like, don't bother with that too much.
Yeah, no, I got you.
But if it's like, this is 3% final damage more, and you're not invested yet, we'd be like, okay, well, in the long term, if you do want to go to 300, like, eventually that's gonna start making a difference. So that might be a good idea.
Like, the one-handed, doesn't it have an advantage because of the crit damage of the mastery or something?
Yeah, there's like some small... Yeah, there's...
It's like a... Well, for blunt and a sword one-handed, I can't remember off the top of my head right now. A blunt and sword one-handed, the difference is like 1% crit damage versus 10% IAD, which in late game is not gonna translate as much for IED, but crit damage doesn't diminishing return like IED does at late game when you're like at 99% IED, right?
Well, yeah, you'll be super high in that, yeah.
That's why I was like basing my calculations that sword will still be better than blunt weapon in that situation. I don't know if the two-handed has the same passive. Not passive, but like the mastery. The high paladin mastery for two-handed sword and one-handed sword.
6% critical damage and 3% mastery when equipped with a one-handed sword. 5% critical damage when equipped with a two-handed sword. 5% critical damage and 10% defense ignore and 3% mastery when equipped with a one-handed blunt weapon. And 5% crit damage and 10% ignore defense when equipped with a two-handed blunt weapon.
That's what I was trying to say.
So I just have it all on one page.
Maybe one-handed would be better in terms of that crit damage, 1%. Because I've seen most of your videos where you're saying the crit damage is like a big source that calculates before final damage or something. Like,
well, after everything, which is why it's so big.
After everything, yeah.
If it's a crit.
As AD is get as much as you can, but once you see 99, it's just gonna be diminishing returns, right?
Well, the main thing is also like the multiplier on the weapon. That's taken this into account. And then you have to take into account the extra stat and the extra weapon attack on the shield over the standard secondary.
So that doesn't translate directly for one-handed and two-handed then, because of the multipliers.
It's not this simple. That's basically what I'm getting at. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, like, I from what I think and from what I saw so far, and then people took into account the KMS numbers, translated it into GMS numbers. It seems that two-handed is still going to be better, but not enough better to switch over if you're already invested. Because if you're already invested, if you're heavily invested and you have perfect for one-handed right now, the other thing that you also have to take into account, what you'll be able to do once the switch goes through, is redo your inner-ability of attack speed +1 and redo that to 20% boss, which will close the gap even more. Because in KMS they can do that, but in GMS we can, because you'll hit the cap with the other stuff that we have.
Yeah.
So that'll make it like so close that two-handed will technically be better, but I think it's like a 0.5% final damage or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, again, those were initial estimations. People do the hardcore testing once it actually hits the server, and we'll, like you said, we have to see exactly what happens and what the backups are. Yeah, and yeah, you don't want to over prep too much, because then again, you have a lot of money just sitting in your inventory.
No, the only thing I prepped was like that secondary. That's secondary. That's the only thing.
Okay, yeah, okay. That's we can overcome that. Yeah, there's not a financial drain that's gonna completely ruin you.
Well, it took me like 3 cubes, the master cubes. They got it to unique, and then one of those Meister cubes that I got from a drop, it became legendary in 1 cube. So it literally was nothing.
Okay, that was okay. Good to know. Okay, what is the next step after that? So that would, you know, the whole episode stuff. Next step after that would be to transfer the level 140 backups for the superior drops, and probably get them all the way to 21, transfer into the superior, and then do the superior at 20, redo the potential, and then kind of sit on that.
That be before or after the Arcanes?
That'll be after the Arcanes.
Okay.
And then once you have all that, it's probably min-maxing your WSE completely to finalize it. And then after that, it's going to be just a matter of what you have extra resources for. If you want to go to 21, if you need to go to 21, if you want to go to 22, etc. Like at that point, you basically reassess, like, what am I doing with my party? What am I doing with my character? Do I need more damage to do the things that I want to do? You know, like efficiently. Do I just want to upgrade? But at that point, having a certain amount of backups will make those decisions more easy. So if you still have the superior backups, if you still have a bunch of CRA because you want to like pop it to 22 because you have so much money, or if you have another character that you want to play at that point and spending money on that character seems way more efficient, then you do that instead. And then you'll have way more options because your character will just be so much stronger that it can realistically do everything, probably up to like Ferris Hill and maybe even like probably Gloom Dark now at that point if you have the levels for that.
Okay.
But it's like that's like the general path, I would say, with all of that. So which equips you use for all of that? I guess you took most of that except for the part where you switch from the specific drop rate and meso set and the damage set for accessories, right? That's probably what we'll focus on a little bit more here to make sure that we have that clear for you. So, that's like the general outline. Before we get into all of that, is there any other questions you had about any of the other topics that I usually go through in these videos?
Nothing off the top of my head, but if it pops, trust me, I'll ask it immediately.
Yeah, okay, sure. So...
I don't know if you have noticed, but I have a very bad habit of interrupting.
But hey, here we go.
Sorry.
I get in trouble at work too, so it's a habit. I can't shake it already.
Wait, you're getting in trouble for what?
Interrupting people when they're talking. So yeah, I'm just saying, like, if I had a question, trust me, you'll know.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say stop interrupting me, but that's
that's cool.
It's just it's excitement, you know. Yeah. It just triggers a thought in your brain, and you want to mention it so that you don't lose it.
You want to mention it so you don't forget it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I get that. So, yes. Where do we start? Legion. Your Legion is looking healthy.
Yeah, we can.
Looking good.
Legion. I was a main Legion before being a Paladin, actually.
I see. So 8K is creeping up.
Yeah, the story behind it is like, legit until the compensation came, in March 38th. I believe it was March 38th. I was a Legion main. So I was at 7K Legion with none of my characters above 210. Mained the mechanic first when the reboot came out, 2016 until 2017. Then I quit 18, and then when I came back to 18, it was all Legion until 2020. You know.
Okay.
So even that Paladin was level 140 Legion Mule.
Okay, I see.
That until like the 38th of March of 2021.
Right.
When the compensation hit and everybody's like, "Yo, get a main so you can get the symbols and."
Yeah, the value
and,
was crazy if you actually have a main at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like everything was like 10.
Yeah.
All the arcane symbols just instantly became like 10 or 7, 8, 9, something like that.
Yeah, a
something
lot of arcane
crazy.
power to get you started, so you can always go to new areas without hitting like a giant
So this
wall.
character is technically only 3 months old.
Yeah, when you started getting serious with it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but you've been enjoying it? You think you made a good choice in Paladin?
Well, I've been a paladin and back in the day, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Since like 2007 all the way to 2011 before I quit reg server.
Okay. So, when it comes to Legion, are you still just like slowly working on 8K? Do you have any questions on what to do?
I'm slowly working in 8K and trying to avoid the mage classes because they give int.
Mm-hmm.
And then I push off my thief classes to the back of the board also, so that I can start working on the strength ones and the dex ones first.
Yeah.
I guess my question when it came to Legion was, where do I put my blocks?
Yeah.
If, okay, for example, if I'm training right now, as you can see, I guess, EXP is filled, crit damage is filled, and then secondary and attack, primary and attack is filled, right? So would I go in IED or would I fill the secondary? Because I think this is an old screenshot. I filled a little bit in the secondary for grinding of the legions, in the leveling block, right?
Secondary stat?
Yeah, in the leveling, not in the bossing one. The bossing one is the bossing one. That one I've
right.
touched.
Yeah, I usually
But
don't
for the
min-max.
leveling,
I usually don't min-max to that level. Like as long as you have enough critical rate to hit 100 and critical damage and a bonus experience is full, you just throw everything else where you see fit and how much you are okay with moving around every single time. Because at a certain point,
I don't move a lot. I don't
yeah.
move stuff.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Then yeah. As long as you have 100% crit, then it's like absolutely fine. Except I guess the screenshot you probably change it because here you have the points in HP. That's probably going to be strength, and this one's going to be
that
dex
was a
now.
Demon Avenger.
I see.
I'm leveling a Demon Avenger. Bro, you know how it is, that one.
I know, yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, I have different memories because it wasn't that bad back then.
It was good when you did it.
Yeah, I actually advised it as like a starting character because it was very simple to play early on and was pretty strong comparative to other characters. Like you do the bosses
I saw the old
faster.
videos with everybody saying like the A is good.
Well, you could do all the bosses immediately because nothing could kill you, right, in the beginning because nothing is percent HP. So
yeah, one day it's like one of the worst classes that you can die from your own skills.
It just, I mean, it gradually happened over time. Like everyone got 5th job skills and we just didn't. So, that's kind of what happened. And
you did get 5th job skills. It's just they kill you.
Yeah, and they don't really interact that well. So
yeah.
The last one was supposed to interact very heavily with the first one, but there was a 4-year span in between that. So, the 4 years of despair before you get something that actually interacts with your first V skill is pretty, And it seems like everyone else also got buffs on 1st, 2nd, 3rd job and everything, and DA got some tweaks and a little bit of survivability, but didn't really get stronger per se.
Yeah. So for Legion, I just the bossing one is what I think we would optimize if there's something I have wrong.
Yeah, that's true. Although, like at this point, I don't have enough information to see if that has to be tweaked. Critical rate wise, are you relying on the Neo Force, or did you have 100% without? Because I did see you have the inner ability, which is really nice.
Might have a little bit from the Neo Force, yes.
Or you're moving, you might be moving the Phantom Link out instead of Neo Force, something like that.
Yes, there's with whatever you see right now. That's I think the bossing setup.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that you can see like the Zero Link and like
Pirate Blessing.
Shade, the Shade and the Pirate Blessing and that Cygnus Blessing stuff. that's mainly just to add a little bit of the survivability for the bosses that they may actually take effect in, which I don't know exactly which ones do and don't take effect for those.
Which bosses it's good to use these on, you mean?
Yeah.
Like close call
which
can
bosses
always.
are just completely useless.
Well, I mean, Spirit Freedom is only useful if you ever die in a boss fight, right? Which is, for a lot of people, pretty early on starts happening. And then Spirit of Freedom can just ease your pain a lot. Pirate Blessing, so that is, if you're referring to the part there where it says it can reduce incoming damage.
Yes.
Yeah, that's only non-percentage. If something does not specifically says that it works on percentage HP skills, then it doesn't. It only works on flat amounts. So it would help you tank like Queen Breath if you ever would need help with that as a Paladin, which I don't think you do. Other than that, it's just padding your base stats, and it could be useful in mobbing, but for bossing, this is probably one that you don't need. So, like in your current setup, I would definitely switch this out for like Elementalism or something.
Elementalism is the damage percent. Okay.
Yeah, the kind of link. Yeah. Spirit of Freedom pretty much always works if you're going to die. Close Call is the same thing, but it just has a chance of triggering if you're going to die.
It saved me so many times.
Yeah. If you have it, you're like,
people were like, "How did you even survive that?" I was like,
"You're like, magic."
They assume it's Paladin, and it's not. It's just the hidden sauce.
Just say Paladin, okay? Just keep the illusion up, okay?
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm just keeping the illusion that it is a Paladin.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh my god, Paladin's so OP." Meanwhile, just lucking out hardcore with Close Call every time. Signet Blessing is mainly on hard CCs.
Statuses.
Stuns and stuff. So like Lotus, it's very useful for you don't get locked as long, so you can move out of the way.
Okay, so that one is fine to keep then.
So I would say depending on which boss you're fighting, if you have other links available that give you like bigger chunks of damage, I'm thinking what could be good. For some reason, link skills.
I have everything. Don't worry, I have everything.
Well, so I'm thinking because you do have pretty nasty burst, right? And we have a heavy burst meta. You probably have a con in the party, all of that. The AB link can also be very good for Paladin.
Oh, okay. So terms and conditions.
Yeah. Because I mean, like you throw out terms and conditions, you throw out like a Mjolnir, you use your big skill, you throw out another Mjolnir at your end. You can do all that within 10 seconds, right?
Yeah. No, that can be done.
Well, a little bit more, because buff duration applies to it, so it lasts a little bit longer than that. So when it comes to like optimizing your burst and also making sure that you carry enough of your weight.
Buff duration applies to what?
To terms and conditions.
Really?
Yeah, well, technically it just applies to all skills that you activate, but there's an exception to hyper skills and to fifth job skills. But everything else it works on.
Terms and condition it does.
Yeah, terms and condition it does. It works on.
That's the first time I've heard about it. Okay, nice. Actually, was like, okay.
Yeah, it's so short though that it's not super noticeable. But, yeah.
It's so short.
No, everything helps. Yeah.
I guess. Okay.
If you're like a shade, you can reset the cooldown on it as well. Use it twice in a burst. That kind of stuff. So it'd probably be the ones I would throw up instead of like depending on the boss, right? But like instead of Cygnus Blessing and Pirate Blessing. Whether Rin's Blessing here is worth it, that would depend on if you need the IED. If you don't need the IED, what is next on the list? Like the Jet Link skill, the Core Aura?
Don't do the stuff resetting it though. Like I don't touch that one ever.
Oh yeah, okay.
So like I'm completely neglecting that Jet Link skill.
Okay. That's fine.
What do you think of the new classes skill and the thief skill?
Yeah, those would probably be the other two that are like roughly around the same point. Yeah. If you push down the thieves because you're not leveling them, then I guess grab the cane, right?
And the thieves are already like max link skill.
Okay.
Because they're 120, 120, 120.
Right.
Some of them are like 170 right now.
So. Yeah, they're all level 2 link. Yeah. I think
they're all level 2.
I think those two are pretty equal. So just pick whichever one you want. I don't think they're hugely different.
Okay.
Yeah. He's missing the arc link skill. Oh, true. You don't have the arc on here. Arc is like, yeah. See, this is my link skills. I always have like a blind spot. I can't think of all of them.
So as of right now, from those that you have on your screen, which would you swap? Well, of course, the pirate you would swap for Arc, Ben.
Yeah. So swap out
or something else.
Depending on what you're doing, I would swap out the pirate, Cygnus, and Rins. If you're party bossing and trying to optimize, and then switch in the Arc, Elementalism, and the terms and conditions.
Elementalism. Elementalism is
Kana.
okay. The damage one again.
Yeah, the red one. Yeah.
Then, so the pirate, the Rins, and what's the third one again?
So swap.
To free them.
No. So the pirate blessing, the Cygnus blessing, and Rins blessing. All the blessings, basically.
All the blessings. Okay.
Yeah, they're all called blessing. I just noticed. Yeah.
All called blessings. Yeah. Just get rid of all the blessings.
Yeah. No more blessing. All right. It's not good enough. We need real thing. We need blessing. Thoughts and prayers. Don't kill bosses. Okay. We need hard damage.
No, I don't know why I didn't have Arc at that point. Can't remember.
Yeah, I probably just skipped over it. But Arc is for both mobbing and bossing is like the core necessary.
Well, it is now since it's since it's level 3.
Definitely, yeah, yeah. And Wild Rage.
I don't know if you remember me whispering you on it when I was leveling. Like the frame rate was dropping heavily. And using certain skills, and then you told me to disable the voice.
Oh yeah.
Disable the sound, and then something else which I forgot. Well, mini blade effect.
Mini blade, yeah. That works. Because it's noticeable difference if I'm doing like the crystal challenge and I don't do that.
I did it for all the characters now since you told me that one. Just kept it that way.
It for stream it looks a little bit less impressive because all the lines.
There's no numbers, and no damage.
So it looks like
But it's for the FPS, it's a blessing.
For sure. Yeah, hopefully 64-bit client, all that stuff will make that a little bit less bad.
It'll just make you memleak more.
Yeah, maybe.
It's just upgrades the memleak limit.
I mean, it is. I think
128.
So. Well, I think right now it does trigger memleak more because people have said that they lag way less and have way less memleak if they have the invisible damage skin on.
Okay. Oh yes, because it doesn't draw the frame picture anymore. The damage.
Thank you, Maestro. Yeah, exactly. There's no resources going towards that, so it doesn't pull resources, so it doesn't get to hold on to them either, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so that's link skills. So link skill and legion wise, that. Oh yeah, yeah, that takes care of that, right? We'll keep in mind if the legion setup for bossing is optimal, but I think it is, because I mean, we'll.
I filled up boss damage and crit damage, and then the crit is already at 100.
Yeah.
So that was my thought process, and then I was going next into IED, and if like I don't even know if you can fill four blocks. As soon as IED was filled, I was going towards the buff duration.
Yeah, if you have 8k and all of the characters that are on the board are at least 200, then you can fill. You can definitely fill whole of ignore defense, and then you'll have some left to put into something else, either into attack, strength, critical rate, whatever.
Okay.
Into buff duration, I don't know, whatever you want to do, I guess. No, other than that setup looks clean. Yeah. Might be ID. Do you know... oh, so this is another thing. And so when it comes to the bosses and everything, and people do their BAs for the burst and such, your BA, and this is also partially why soloing for... I think this is might be the main reason why they made it so that for liberating, they made it so that you can do it with a party of 2, is because...
Yes, I already have a friend that I told to never touch their things without me.
Yeah.
He's in the deal. Yeah. So once we get there, if we get there.
Yeah, because of your passive, right? Your linking.
Yeah.
So that also makes it so that if you're doing a BA, and you want to have like a realistic BA, you should have someone else there also attacking and doing their BA with you in the party, on the same dummy, so that your number actually is representative to how much you would be doing.
Okay.
Because
I've heard of paladins asking people to come when they do the BA.
Yeah.
I just never knew why.
Paladins and technically a Kana should do it too, because Kana has a passive where you gain 5% final damage per person in the party.
Okay.
So they're missing like 25% final damage by by doing it solo. So for them, it's also like if you just have 5 people just sitting there AFK in the room while they're doing it, you already gain a quarter of your BA. And for Paladin, I think it's 50%. So it's like massive, right?
Yeah, it is. It is 50%. Yeah, it is 50%.
So you could also just do your regular stuff and just add 50% to the BA and then be like, this is what it actually is. Yeah.
That sounds a little better for me. Because you can scuff it and still look good.
Yeah, but well, you do 50% of the other person's damage. If the other person does more damage, then it's actually more than 50%, right?
Yeah.
Because if the other person does double your damage and you deal 50% of theirs, then you do double your damage instead of 50% of more of yours. So depending on who you link with, but a lot of the times, like I think, yeah, right now it's still a clusterfuck who you link with, right? But I think you'll be able to choose who you link with after the skill reset, right? Oh, the skill rework.
Yes, you can choose.
Yeah.
Not as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
But they will implement it so that you can.
Yeah, so if there's a Night Lord in your
one.
party, you just link with him for the last phase. Yeah, you get so much extra damage. Yeah. And then you're a support, but then you are actually bringing so much damage to the table, right?
Yeah.
They could just do BA on the boss itself and then see how much everyone does, and then you'll probably be like, well, if there's a heavy burster like that in the party, you might actually become like the second highest burster out of everyone. Yeah,
just because of the...
Because of half of theirs and all of your damage on top of it, yeah. You might actually get to, like, to second or third and be like, oh shit. Yeah. And for, you know, Hard Lucid Phase 3, you need all the damage you can get there to blow through that.
Sure.
So. Okay, so Links, Legion, BAs, general progression. Any questions?
Oh, about the BA.
Yeah.
How much am I supposed to do at my stat, if you have a rough idea, or someone that might? As a Paladin, of course.
As a Paladin, 22? 22. Like, the lower the stat is...
Let's say 25. Let's say 25 right now. I actually am at 25.
Because the lower the stat is, the harder it is to predict. Because there's the more possible variance in all the other numbers, right?
Like, roughly?
Let's see if I have any numbers. I don't know if I have many Paladin numbers.
Am I supposed to at least be above 1T?
I don't have any Paladin numbers.
Is 1T like the average? Assuming I'm not using terms and conditions. No T's and C's.
Well, this is also while being completely solo?
Yeah. While being completely solo, yes.
Yes, you're going to be super on the low end then. There's a Lumi doing 1 at 21k stat, and Lumi I think has better bursts.
Oh, okay.
So if you're closing in on 1, well, I say 25. Yeah, it's pretty disparate. Some people have 0.7. There's a 1.6.
I don't want to throw out numbers right now.
A 2.5.
I'm ashamed of my BA.
Yeah.
I don't know how bad it is or good it is.
Yeah. Like. So you'd expect like 1.5-ish, I guess. So if you're doing close to 1, I think that's fine. Since that
well, like I am doing maybe a little bit more than 1.
Yeah, because if you could take into account the plus 50%, then you're probably like in total doing like 1.6, 1.7. That seems fine.
Okay.
Don't think you're like horribly behind on that. You're good. As long as you're not like using guild skills and cheating in it, okay? Just use green pot.
No. Yeah, no, not even green pot though.
Oh yeah, but
I'm not even using green pot for that one.
Okay, you have to use green pot. Okay, that's how you maximize. Green pot, true reckon reflection, all that stuff.
Okay.
Speaking of the Matrix and the skills that you use, why is your hammer not in there?
Is there? Oh, that's the will setup. Because for will, spinning hammers do kicking damage.
They hit the test all the time.
Test, and then the phase 1 is mainly the main issue.
Can you never turn those off?
To not use it, huh?
They're like always on, one or the other.
Oh, there's no toggles. As long as you have your elementals charged, which is like by alternating your elements, then you have the spinning hammers around.
Oh, but you could right click. I mean, you could have it out and then right click your charges, right? And then the swords with the
you can right click it, but like in Will, I'm already trying to survive.
Yeah, but I mean during the test, right? When you're standing in the middle during tests, that's when you need it, right?
But the amount of raining that it did the first time I did it with the group, and they were like, "Oh my god, who's doing that? Oh my god, who's doing that?" And I just like look at my hammers.
It stops pretty quickly after that. So as long as like, okay, it's test, then you look up to the top right, or like you're waiting for the test to start. Then you look at the top right and take off your elemental charges, and then you wait until like the whole test is over, and then you reactivate them.
Can you right click like guilds buffs and stuff?
Guild buffs. Oh, you mean like you could accidentally click the right
yeah,
the
can
wrong
you
one?
right click those?
That's possible.
Yeah, so I just for bosses like Will, I guess there's the only boss as Will. I wasn't using the spinny hammers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
I guess.
Yeah, I also can't see the spider link skill there also. So yeah, I wasn't.
Right.
That was the Will. That was the Will setup.
The Will setup. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it is a part of your damage and a big part of your damage and part of your burst. If you're gonna do hard will and you need everyone needs all the damage they can get, would be advisable to do it that way. And yeah, that would mean that you would have to.
Then yeah,
practice.
We can also test and practice. If practice works with this setup, then
yeah.
Sure. If not, then that's what I'm missing to push a little bit more damage, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that, and I guess the next thing is to start leveling up those skill nodes, because the boost nodes are looking quite healthy.
Yeah. I've only been... Oh, that's the other thing. I have been keeping, like, experimental boost node tab thingy-majiggy for all the kind of charges. So people say you only need 2 charges.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have 2 separate sets that I was maxing out, which are already maxed out now. For
Fire Ice.
For the other 2 charges, which are, god damn it,
Fire and Ice, right? The
Fire and Ice and the Holy and Lightning, all 4 of them in 2 nodes.
Oh right, good. Now you only have Holy and Lightning in 2 nodes.
Yeah.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't know, because you don't know the future changes in the game. But I'm actually like I actually plan ahead so much sometimes that it's just.
Do you have like
some of it is just useless.
Do you have like one of those basements that has like canned food for 4 years as well? Is that?
No, but my room can function as a bunker, I guess, if necessary.
Doom Brever progression session. You know how to make how to make paper out of how to make candles out of old newspapers, like.
How to make candles out of earwax? No, not that hard.
No, that's Shrek. Okay, it isn't. That's different.
But no,
it's true though.
The like in terms of the nodes, I only have like 2 extra ones that I was just experimenting of if in case like I use Fire and Ice, or they bring back elemental. Imagine they bring back elemental weakness.
I hope they do.
I don't know. I'm hoping.
Make some diversity
In that
happen.
case, that will be a good one. You know.
Yeah. Paladins will be able to like shine in a certain boss party.
The only loss for me would be half a node of Rush. She only used for bossing anyways, right?
Yeah.
So it will be 5 nodes to max everything.
Yeah.
And then I just take out Rush instead. 1 Rush is
I mean,
out.
by the time you get to 270, you start on your second page of nodes, and you really have nothing else really to put in at that point. So it's fine, whatever you have.
Okay. But that's not a bad thing, right? I know it slowed down me maxing some of the nodes, yes, because I'm not dismantling those.
Yeah.
Which is also why my
in the grand scheme
like
of things,
the boost nodes, the boost nodes are good, but the other ones kind of level 10 and level 15 and.
Yeah, once you get closer to the hard bosses, like Hard Lucid, Hard Will, that's when you are hoping to get those higher up, especially the ones that specifically do a lot of your damage. To get those.
So as of right now, you're saying it's healthy. It's okay.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah. Because honestly, if it's like...
You know, I feel like, after what you said, I feel like I've been getting bullied by everybody for no reason then.
Well, I mean, welcome to Twitch, I guess.
No, not even that. Like, just being bullied by everybody. You know, not even just Twitch.
Well,
everybody's like, oh, you're behind on this and that.
Well... It could also be like a mental thing. If you feel like you're behind, like if everyone says it, you start believing it, right?
But no, I'm very content. Like,
so
I'm very content.
If somebody started with a main very quickly and has the same legion size as you, would expect them to have probably had at least 1 or 2 other characters that are significantly over 200 as well, and that they would have all of their nodes pretty much maxed at this point. That's what most people's situation would be. But since you main Legion and have everything like around 210, you get
literally
like 3 or 4 nodes at most per character, so that doesn't add up at all. Like that doesn't, and those nodes probably got used on those characters themselves just to level them up a bit faster. So you don't have a whole bunch of stuff that you could scrape off and throw into your main character. So that with the history of the build-up of your account makes perfect sense. That does mean though that you could.
That was my only question for V-Matrix.
Yeah. Well, it does mean though that you can
also,
still get a lot of value out of the node stones. So for the event shop and stuff, that's still a good idea.
Okay. Also, do you think should get my max nodes before trying out hero, or just because I don't want to split my boost nodes and stuff into hero and paladin, or max out so max out these and then try hero, or I can try hero and then work on hero nodes and then go back to pally later when I can.
Yeah, I think honestly, like if you know what you're doing and all of the stuff is like on point and is upgraded properly, and your party knows what they're doing and everyone carries their own weight, this is like good enough to be able to do hard loosen and hard will. So if you do have the future plans of like checking out hero as well, I think it's perfectly fine to start saving up nodes now to be able to throw those at hero once you switch, and then see.
You don't
how
say
you like
that I should switch to hero with like no nodes though. Would be a bad idea, right?
You'll just be so weak.
Okay.
Because you're just losing out on like 100% final damage on your main attack, so you only do immediately you're doing half your damage, a little bit less. Weapon is probably not as good.
How much nodes would you say on average, maybe?
Like probably. So the further you go, the more,
1,000?
right? Yeah, probably at least 1,000, I would say.
Okay.
Like 500 to 1,000 would be like bare minimum, I think, to start with. Yeah. If you want to be like roughly as strong as this character, like comparatively, of course, hero does more damage by himself. Yeah. Then you're probably looking closer to 2k. But then you'd probably be able
2k nodes, you mean?
Yeah, 2k nodes. But then you'll probably be able to do more damage solo than the Paladin immediately, just because of how broken hero is.
Gotcha.
But again, if that means you bring more damage to the party, that might not be the case, right?
Yeah,
depending
that's
on
my
who you
party.
link to.
That's what my party is saying. Like, if we could try out, like, when we go try out the hard bosses.
Yeah.
If I could like try hero for those and see if that's what is required, if we're missing some damage, push it a little bit,
Well, I would try Paladin first and see if you can make it work, right?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, if we're missing out on the damage, switch to hero and see if we can push it a little bit, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but if you switch too early, you'll lose damage by switching.
Okay.
If you switch without the required nodes.
Final damage.
Yeah, no final damage on your burst, especially not after the skill changes, right? It might, and you can link if you have a high burster in your party. That's definitely gonna make a huge difference.
I'm also boosting both of our damage at that time.
Yep.
Paladins are underrated, man. Like,
and for hard will, if they have survivability issues, you can also keep them alive with Sacrosanctity for 30 seconds, which can be really good. If somebody keeps fucking up the hard will tests or something, you could just immune them.
I've actually done that. Like, I've actually done that. And I actually, what did I else? Like, this one guy that was gonna die in the test of phase 2. You know how they can't heal? I literally just popped my immunity on them. And
yeah. Well,
they were linked with me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I use it that way too.
Almost no one else could do that. Like Bishop can throw up a shell in a door, like they can do that, and then I think Mihal has some weird skill that can prevent a lot of incoming damage. Yeah, but other than that, there's like the only 3 classes that can really be like, oh, I'm just gonna bump save you. Like the barriers for Kana might sometimes reduce, but if you already get hit, like the second hit is definitely gonna kill you regardless. Ilium has a party-wide iframe, but that one is pretty tricky to stack, and do you upkeep the stacks during? Yeah, because you only lose stacks when you get hit. Yeah, so as long as if one of those purple balls hits you during the test, then you lose your stack and then you can't use the party-wide iframe anymore. I don't know. Yeah, but there's only like a handful of classes that can really do that, so there's definitely value in that. And it saves you 2 minutes, which means 2 more minutes of not having to die in phase 2, 2 more minutes of being able to wail on phase 3, and significantly higher chance of succeeding immediately. Yeah, so according to regarding the White Knight hero changes, I would put that out there when it comes to the Matrix. Okay, so what's next? Looked at your backups. Link skills. Wait, you're uncharacteristically quiet right now.
I'm dying at a jump quest in Ratchet and Clank.
Okay.
So.
Usually you already interrupted me 4 times at this point, so I was really...
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like wondering what's going on.
I'm sorry for being quiet.
So not you. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so the 2 major things is like the critical rate and the IED, right? If you have the path forward for critical rate and IED clear, then that's cool. It could be that you need to change one of those that we talked about.
Once the event is gone.
Yeah, that maybe close call needs to change out for the Phantom Link, right? To get the 100% crit again, and hopefully by then you don't need the close call as much anymore because you're now a pro at all the bosses you're doing.
I'm actually relying on them just because of ping and lag. Because I have a 1,300 ping with the server of MapleStory, so...
So, wait, why didn't you open with I'm playing from the moon? Why is this coming out now?
I am playing from the Middle East, from the UAE, so...
Okay, see.
Have a lot of ports blocked, and then that causes interruptions in most of the games.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm not American despite my accent.
Yeah, oh yeah. I totally thought you were American, for sure.
Oh.
No, I was trying to pinpoint, trying to pinpoint the region.
No, I'm from the UAE. I'm 100% Arab.
Oh, I see. So, no. I think I was at the right, is it longitude, but not the right latitude?
Yeah.
Which one is it? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I get that. I mean, that's also why you would want to play a tankier
class. I use
class.
those to survive a little bit. That's exactly why I also like Paladins. Don't die to bullshit because of lag, because some of it just gets mitigated by the fact that I'm a Paladin.
Yep, and you can take those hits, yeah. And if
Exactly.
you pile onto that you switch to hero because they want you to do more damage, but then you're dead half the time, then that doesn't really help.
But the hero does have the iframe. I don't know how good it is to use, so I have it in the back of my head that I'll see how good it is or how hard it is to time, I guess.
Yeah, it lasts, I think, from start to finish. I think it lasts 3 seconds, which is quite nice.
3 seconds.
And if you get
that's like half the lag of the server for me. So I have a 1.5 second frame there.
But if you get the cooldown hat, like 2 seconds cooldown hat, it goes down to 18 seconds cooldown. So that's quite often that you can use that.
Is it like affected by buff duration or is it just animation?
Just animation.
Animation iframe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But these days people typically weave it in for damage because it also gives you temporarily. So it used to be like it's a full map AoE and it's also an iframe. It's like really good.
Yeah, I've seen some heroes do it.
Yeah. But before it would temporarily give you more final damage buff, but it would also take so many charges off of your like combo orbs. It would consume those that it would actually drop your final damage a little bit until you filled up the orbs. And then usually by the time you fill up the orbs, that buff is already gone, so it wasn't really worth using. But now with
so that's why people just use this for iframe.
Yeah, it was just iframe or just for training full map clear. But now because of Sword Illusion, what you can do is like you can throw up Sword Illusion, then throw up the iframe, and then because Sword Illusion hits like a bunch of times, not instantly, but it hits a little bit over time. And then by the time the iframe goes off and you lose all the combo orbs, Sword Illusion just immediately replenishes them and you can keep attacking and you can take the benefit from having the full orbs because Sword Illusion replenishes them and the final damage from the World Reaper. So it optimizes your DPS that way. Which also means that if you want to use it in that way to optimize your DPS, you will actually lose access to it as an iframe to survive. So you have to be more confident with the class
I would definitely
and
be
with the
using
party.
it as an iframe.
Yeah,
I would definitely be using it as an iframe.
Yeah, I mean, Sword Illusion is still really, really good, so it's a whole bunch of lines. So. Yeah, and yeah, for Lucid, they changed the single target, right, to hitting, like, the targets divide by 3, so you can also wail on a golem that's close to Lucid at the same time, and the mushrooms, so you can kill those very quickly as a hero, so that's nice. The only thing is they have to constantly keep the debuffs on the boss. That's a little bit annoying, but, you know, you get used to that. There's two debuffs, Puncture and Panic.
Okay.
But I mean, Puncture adds a little bit of party damage as well, so that's nice. And you have Rage. Yay. Alrighty then. Yeah. So the second thing is the IED. Are you aware of like what your functional IED is at?
Well, I know how it looks like on screen to me right now. If I'm fully buffed, it's around 99%.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it is 99%.
And that's with familiars and stuff, or?
No familiars. I don't have a familiar yet. Like,
okay.
My familiar situation is like, let's just not even come into it. Like, tell me what I should do, but don't ask me what I have because I have 0.
Cool. Okay, so if you have 0, what you probably want to work on is completing the badges so you can equip multiple.
Oh, those I started working on. Yeah.
Okay.
Those
cool.
I started working on.
Yeah. And you know which ones to work on?
I'm missing the 3 that are 2 of the ones that just opened up, and the what's the
Limina?
PQ that I haven't started yet.
Oh, okay. So you
PQ.
CPQ. Oh, right. With the prequests with the 2 dudes that you have to like get through the prequests. Yeah. Yeah, I avoided that one because fuck that one. But because if you get 5 more levels, you can just get Limina immediately and then you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, so but you're really close to 10 there, so you'll be able to equip 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So what you quote unquote should be doing, I guess, is where do you train right now, if you do?
VC3 if I can.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can't, it's back to one of the Celis maps.
Yep. I imagine
because,
VC3 is pretty full.
Yeah.
You can get some burn. Yeah. So Celis is no familiar, so that's unfortunate.
It's like I kill them pretty efficient versus going to like DC1 for example, or like the next map over. One with Vihela, that map. I don't know what the name of the area is. I can't remember.
Labyrinth.
Lab.
Yeah, Labyrinth of Suffering. Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't gone over to Lab yet.
There could be some, because when it comes to training, a lot of characters kind of despise the bigger maps.
Well, this is definitely one of the characters that despises the bigger maps.
Well, you kind of have the benefit of the fact that if you just jump around, once you have those hammers floating around you and they're strong enough, you're just killing everything just by moving through them, right?
Yeah.
And that's
during that 50% uptime.
Yeah, and that's a benefit that a lot of other classes don't have, where they have to be constantly throwing out attacks, so they don't want the huge maps, because they have to travel, throw a skill, travel again, throw a skill. But 50% of the time, you don't have to travel and then throw a skill. You're throwing a skill while you're traveling, so that's a huge benefit that you have. Yeah, so that's there's a thing to consider, but because also familiars drop there, and a lot of people do skip lab for that reason, which means that there's a lot of burn in lab these days, a lot of value
Yeah, no,
to
I've
be
seen
picked
the
up.
burning. I've seen the burning. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm assuming that you have, because you mentioned it before, a little bit more contact with paladins, right, specifically, and what they kind of do.
No, not really.
Not really?
I had
Okay.
one that quit. That's it.
Oh yeah, your lifeline is gone.
Yeah, my lifeline quit.
That's unfortunate.
It was another pally. Yeah, it was another pally in guild.
Mm-hmm. And have you looked into the Reboot Central Discord maybe?
I joined it a couple of times and then didn't. I don't even know how to say it without sounding weird.
Okay. Well.
There was a lot of people that when I was asking were like dismissive, right? So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's not a place I want to be, because I'm not very aggressive when it comes to asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm getting answers that are aggressive, I just stop asking. And
Yeah.
Just, like leave.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, because I mean, it does help to get specifically more for the actual class that you're playing replies. Yeah. But yeah, it can be a bit toxic. I mean, I left that Discord as well because of
exactly
management disagreements.
I never came back to it.
It's like I don't need that shit in my life. Like if that's how you want to do things, that's fine. But I definitely am not going to be part of that. Okay, well, looks like, you gotta blaze your own trail then, I don't know, maybe post on Reddit, be like, yo, I'm looking for some Paladin friends who are not dicks. Hit me up.
That's what actually I'm doing that most of the time. Like if I find a Paladin, or if a Paladin comes on my stream, immediately adds me to the buddy list.
Yeah, it's like, help.
Yeah, we're like yeah.
Clasp onto them, never let go.
Class belt bonding.
Yeah. Yeah, because like specifically, yeah, if your ID is that high, then that's fucking fantastic, and you don't need to worry about the Legion building for that. Like, you eventually do, but what that probably means, I'm gonna get. Well, you don't have ID on your. Oh, it's because of your shield, right? Yeah.
The shield, yes.
Yeah, so that does mean that if you ever have the opportunity, or you know, we know for sure what weapon you're going to go for, etc., that when you redo the secondary, you definitely don't need any kind of ID on that whatsoever.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, and if you do need to, for optimization's sake, keep the hyperstats for ID a little bit lower, that would be fine too. And you can probably go a little bit higher on the other ones.
So how much would you say visibly on the window I should be hovering over at?
So
fully buffed, of course, at bossing.
Yeah, well, so the
you know, the mage skill, I also
mage skill, the boost nodes. We have to also take into account the event buff, of course. So it depends on how much is adding. So in this situation where I see that you have 92, is this the same situation where if you fully buff, you end up at 99?
No, there's like something changed recently that makes it 99 now.
And what has changed?
This is like 2 weeks ago I sent you those. Yeah, maybe 2 weeks ago or something.
Yeah, I could check in Discord. Hang on.
I don't know. I didn't even have points in hyper. Like I said, this is the one where it
yeah,
had
you have 3 or something. Yeah.
XP. It had like but now it has 10 on everything almost. So. So yeah.
It was the 22nd. It was 1 full week ago.
Yeah.
So that's what changed, the hyperstats and the
hyperstat and the yeah, pretty much the hyperstat, I think.
Okay. Well, but yeah, just to get it.
Sorry. I sent you this in drop gear, which means I did not use the superior ring, which gives the Gollux ID and boss damage stuff. Something else is there. Oh, and dependent was the greed instead of the dominator. It's just that's it. I guess
Okay. Yeah, so that means that you're getting a functional. Because there's still something that you have as a paladin skill that still gives you more IED. This is like a
maybe passively, and it doesn't show in the window. Yeah, sure.
I think it's like when you build some stacks on a target or something. That you get like
maybe you're talking about elemental charge stacking. I alternate between my elements.
I thought that was just attack.
I can't
recovery amount, attack power,
status and then threaten, of course. Threaten minus 50%.
Yeah, and you have fucking threaten. Yeah, exactly. So
sorry, that's what we're forgetting, I guess, bro. Like the main thing about a paladin.
Yeah. Well, it's 30%, and then
it's the one skill I don't even use.
Up to 50. Yeah.
No, I started using threaten recently.
Yeah. Well, if you're threaten, again, that can be very valuable if you have party members who end up with WSE that is kind of underrepresentative of IED, and they are technically not optimized. If they were in a party with a paladin like you, that would make their IED still optimized, because you can 50% debuff, which means that if they're at 90% in their stat, like functionally, 90%, they'll be at 95 functionally if they're hitting something that you threaten and keep threaten up on, which is like, that's crazy good. So same thing with like a 0, right? 0 debuffs up to 50%. A bishop debuffs up to 40%, and there's a few characters that debuff 30%. Yeah.
Beast Tamer kitty mode.
Yep. Yeah. DA 30%. Note, honorable mention.
Honorable mention.
For DA.
Yeah, that's the change. Like, there's some things changed from this picture, and also some things I forgot to equip when I sent you those.
No, but that's fine, as long as we know that number.
I'll be at Maple, and I can show you when we were doing the session, but then I never account for Maple being down.
Yeah, but we've been hurt before, so we should have taken it into account, but But that means, that if you roll out of it on the shield, if you don't really go that high on the hyperstats, you get the hyperstats on like 8 or something, you'll still be perfectly fine, and even if the Legion blob is not completely filled, it's just that at this point, you're probably still going to get more damage filling up the ignore defense on the Legion than anything else. But I guess technically, if you wanted to, you could move it into like main stat and into attack. And that would probably...
So how much physically, not physically, sorry, like on screen, AD in my stat window am I looking for?
Yeah, that's tough to say because it rounds up.
Without counting threaten, of course. How much would you say?
Yeah, without
25.
threaten. If you see 93 without threaten, then you're like golden, right? Because that means you're at least at 92,
okay.
and you're getting 50% of what you're missing, so you're getting an extra 4% at least. So then you're at least functionally at 96, but probably over because of boost nodes and mage and stuff. So if you see 93, then you count it as 92, and then you're definitely fine.
Okay.
You could probably get away with 90 visual, but that might mean that you're barely at 89, and then you might be functionally... Still then, because if you're at 89, threaten up to 94, and then the other two up there, you're probably still at 95 then, so it's probably still okay, but...
So it's a safe bet to say 95 would be... like done. If I say 95, I'm done. I don't need to go for 99 then.
That's already like on the higher end, yeah. If you see 95, you could probably, yeah, maybe even start moving points out of Hyperstat or out of your Legion, or maybe even like consider... But this is like where you ask the other Paladins, but you could even consider moving out of IED link skills and moving into more damage ones instead.
Okay. Oh, so we can keep the blessings. Or some of the blessings.
Maybe, yeah, if you definitely need that survivability. You could even maybe switch out the Lumi link, which not many people do, of course.
Okay.
But if quote unquote all it does is give you 15% IED and you're already functionally at like over 98, then you, yeah, like for endgame for Saren and stuff, sure you want it, but until then.
Okay, until like past Black Mage, basically, right?
Yeah, past Black Mage, yeah, because even Black Mage only goes up to 300%, so.
Okay.
Would be good. But yeah, another Paladin specifically with more late endgame experience could probably shed a little bit more light on that, where those numbers are exactly.
Yeah, if we can find those.
Yeah. Endgame Paladins, hit this guy up. He streams. Send me your link in Discord. I'll put you... Yeah. MOHD, that's your full name?
Mod. Like, let me type it in your chat. Like, that's my Paladin. So if any main Paladin wants to add me for exchange of informations.
It's like short for Muhammad, or?
Yeah, it is short for Muhammad, exactly, yeah. Damn, you're good at this.
Yeah, dude. I'm a genius. Nobody else could have seen that. That's all me. Alright, so crit is good. Other stats are good. Changes upcoming. That's going to be interesting. Arcane power. Yes, sir. Arcane power is lower than here now, so don't neglect those dailies, okay?
Arcane power. Oh yeah, I'm paying for it by mid points. Just don't tell anybody.
Oh, I see. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Secret safe with me. No one will ever know.
I do not neglect. I do not skip them.
Okay.
I do them.
So I think the last thing we definitely need to talk about then, I guess, are you okay with like flames and flame scores and how all that works? You know that?
No, I actually have no idea.
No idea. Okay, so since like if you look at your current stat and you look at your current attack and percentage stats and all of that, there's a certain balance between those, and that balance kind of dictates on if you add something of any source, how valuable that's going to be, right? And we talked before about like diminishing results. It's basically all just comes down to that. It comes down between the interaction of all of those stats and how much that gives you. So what the flame score tries to do is it tries to kind of predict if you're in a certain stage of the game, how strong will you be, meaning how much will you have of all of those sources, and with that in mind, if you add a certain amount of a certain source, how much is that roughly going to net you in damage, and that damage is then expressed in how much main stat equivalent would that be, to give you like one flat number. And the reason you do that is because that's the easiest to reduce to. Usually the biggest chunk is main stat already, so you don't have to do any kind of multiplier there. So if you have X amount of attack, so for you, dex, attack, strength, and percentage all stat would all be like reverted to how much strength would that be equal to roughly. And then in that stage of the game, taken into account average level of funding and average level of upgrading at that point, and then that number would be the flame score for the item at that stage. The idea behind it is that if you can future-proof in that way, you don't have to constantly optimize and redo your flames every single step along the way, because you know that eventually, once all of your stuff is, upgraded to the stages that we talked about way in the beginning, right? that the flame score will come to fruition, and as a result you will know that your item is either future proof and you can move on to another item, or your item is like okay now but will need upgraded later, or is just garbage and needs to be flamed based on that.
Okay.
So you could use, in the beginning you can use a flame score calculator. You just give in I don't know if you've used it before.
No, but I can start using it.
Yeah.
But the way I was doing my flames for now is get 5% to 6% all stat and stop.
That's a good start.
Oh,
And in the beginning, and again, this is if your potentials are kind of shit and you're only up to epic, then percentage all stat, the value of percentage all stat in the beginning is insane. It's like 25 or something, right? Because you have like no percent all stat, so it's
actually
insane.
for me like 5% equates to somewhere around like what is it?
It's probably over 100, like 110 or something.
Yeah, 110 or 120.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably, yeah. But the thing is that once everything gets to legendary, and especially now, and then the next thing we'll talk about is once we move into like full damage gear and everything has at least 2 lines, now the comparative value of just having all stat on your item will go down comparative to having a large chunk of all stat, like a huge chunk, or a combination of all of the things that gives you damage. So in the beginning that's fine, but like comparatively that'll start losing its shine as you pile on more percentage. So if you use the calculator, you can kind of see what stage you want to calculate for. Is it for late game? Is it for end game? You'll mainly use the late game for now. You might use end game for items that you're going to transpose, right? Because you're planning on keeping those for a long ass time.
I have no idea what transposing, how it works and whatnot, and no, but like people tried to explain it to me, but did it in a way that, do 16 star force, do your flame, and then transpose. I was like, okay, what if I do something wrong?
Yeah, well, that's basically what it comes down to. So transposing is basically what you start looking at if you get a pet mark at all. You start looking at transposing a pet mark into a monocle. If not, that's fine. You just work on the monocle.
What about the Dom pendant?
And the Dominator pendant into the Sweetwater pendant. You typically start looking at that when all of your stuff, so like if you look at the stages of like where to do everything, that's basically when the whole superior set is equipped, everything is 17, and we have the separation of the drop rate and the damage set for all the accessories. At that point, part of that damage set accessories, part of that is the transposed Sweetwater pendant, which would be like the last piece you fit in there.
So I'm like still not there yet.
You're closing in. So if you have Dominators, and you're like, part of it would be now, before the last changes, part of it would be like probably for your flames to throw them on the Dominator to see if you hit something nice that you get from bosses. Of course, we don't get those anymore, so you can use the ones you get from elite monsters and champions, if you're so lucky.
Which I am cursed, so I always get those.
Exactly. But the next step would be like, if you do get to the point, that one of the expenses would be to set some money aside to buy flames and try to get a good flame on the Dominator before you transpose it. Yeah.
Okay. But what happens if I don't get a good flame? Can I still flame after transposing, or what's the reason of the good flame before transposing?
Well, so part of the flame score calculator as well is that there is a difference between flame advantage and no flame advantage. So certain items, and it's not determined by when you get the item or something. It's more just
those one I know, like the boss advantage and not, right?
Yeah, it used to be called boss advantage, but it was a little bit of a weird term because some items drop from bosses, but they didn't have advantage. But
no, the one I didn't understand is like, what if I don't get a good flame and then I transpose? What then?
Well, then you're stuck with the flame on it. So the main value in transposing, so there's 3 main things why transposing is a good idea. One is because you can get a really good flame on the source item which has flame advantage and move it onto the item and basically end up with a higher level. Well, but the other benefits being able to address the item, and it can have a flame advantage flame on it, which you otherwise cannot get. So if you would transpose, you don't turn the new item into a flame advantage item. It still stays flame disadvantage. So if you would ever reflame it, you'd go immediately back into drawing flames from the shitty pool of flames, and you'd just completely ruin the value of the item, basically. So that's why we aim for really high base flame before you transpose. Because afterwards you can only ruin it.
Sweetwater has bad flames.
Yeah, doesn't have advantage. Yeah.
Oh, and you do it for the ones that have advantage, so it carries over.
Yes, exactly. That's why the pap mark into... And transposing is always into Sweetwater stuff. So there's a very limited amount of items that we can transpose over because it has to be within a 20 level range, and there's just aren't as many items that you can transpose over. For the tattoo, for example, there's no candidate item that can transpose over, so we don't do it.
What's the reasoning then behind the star forcing then in that regard?
Yeah, so for the star forcing,
they say star force before you also transfer.
Yeah, so that's the second advantage. If you star force at a certain amount of stars, some stats get added to the base stats of the target item when you transpose. That's part of the added value, and that's also why you why you pay the premium of dineros every time you try to transpose. So what happens is people try to transpose at a bunch of different stars, and they found that if you, like, the higher you transpose, the higher the stats are that get imprinted onto the item, but the lower the advantages of transposing, of star forcing on the item itself afterwards comparatively. So they just found that the sweet spot is 16, that's the perfect spot, where you can still get all the levels on the higher level item, plus you still get the benefits from 15 to 16 imprinted on the item, and it gains you something in the order of magnitude of like 9 stat and 8 attack, I think, something like that, or like 11 stat. So that adds basically into the value of the whole process. And then the third thing is the fact that you can easily, quote unquote, or more dependably get backups, which will guarantee in the long term getting up to 20, 21, 22 stars if you want to do that, because of the amount of backups. Whereas if we didn't transpose and all of that, we didn't get all of the bonuses, we didn't get the level 160 potential tier, and we might end up out of Dominators, or we might end up out of Pap Marks, right? Because those are super, super rare. But if you can get the good benefits on the Pap Mark, throw it onto the monocle, and then have it imprinted on the monocle in the trace, even if you boom it, and then be able to just replenish with backups. Yeah. Okay. And then you can just get a lot more backups, and then you can reliably upgrade further. So that's why for those three main reasons, transposing is really good.
Okay, yeah. That's the first time I think I understood what transposing even was.
Yeah, so for Star Force, you try to go for 16 before you transpose, and then for the flame score, typically people aim for between 105 and 115, depending on how much you win them in max, how lucky you get, etc.
Main stat, you mean, right?
So main stat equivalent. So if you roll like 105 main, you're good. If you roll like 80 main and 40 secondary and a little bit of attack, that could be good. If you roll 50 stat and like 6 all stat and a little bit of the other stuff, as long as you throw it into the calculator, you put it on endgame, and it equals at least 105.
Tells you basically what it is.
Yeah, so let's say it's like 60 of this and 18 of that, and it's like 3 attack and like 5 all stat. It's like it's dex, so this should be a strength character. Be like, oh my god, okay, I was aiming for 115, I'm pretty close. This is 115.8, cool, this is good enough, let's transpose this, right? Okay. If you put this on late game, it might be, oh, it's actually higher. I would think it would be lower.
I wanna see, because I have your stream on like 160p to just not check for anything. So I want to see what you're, okay, where's the flame score? Oh, flame score, okay.
Yeah.
You put everything in it, and the score you're telling me is the one...
Yeah, so you put an endgame here up top. Now. So up top you put in endgame, and then you put in what type of character it is. So you're like a basic basic strength character. Okay. And then you put in the values of the stat. You'll only be able to put in values that matter. Like you won't be able to put in all of these because they don't attribute to damage. Blah. Exactly. Then you click calculate, and it'll give you the score. And if you want to, you can also save it here. You could be like Pap Mark and save it, and then it'll get added here. This is like if you want to determine your priority of flaming items, and you just want to calculate all their flame scores, you put them next to each other, and then you can see what score they have, and then you can compare it.
Where to spend my money.
Yeah, this is going to be once you're just basically sitting on a bunch of money and you're waiting for the next Star Force or Cube event and there's none coming, then you want to maybe work a little bit on your flames in the meanwhile, because there's no flame event, so... I got you. And then you can use it here. You can use this to kind of check what flame scores you want to be aiming for. But so if you check the flames command, there's like a video there as well that explains all of this in more detail. But so here is the value of the flames between the ones with advantage and the ones without advantage, on what kind of flame score you want to be looking at different stages in the game. So you kind of eyeball like where your level is, and then you look down to kind of like what numbers you're looking for. So if you compare that to the numbers here that you've saved, you can see, okay, this item has disadvantage, and is maybe like, oh, is only like 3 stats away. Okay, that would probably cost a lot of money to. And then technically, you can then use this calculator to see like how much would it cost. Like, what is my current flame score comparatively? Like, how much am I looking for? I'm looking for 45. How many flames would that cost me? Okay, that's too expensive. That's not worth it for me. And then you look at another item. Maybe it has flame advantage, and it's like 20 flame score off. It's like, ooh, that's more potential gain, right? And then you can see how much that would cost. Maybe it's like, I don't know, it's like 85 or something. It could be, oh, I have to make sure you turn that on. And it's like, oh, wait, what? This is only like 40 to 60 flames. Okay, comparative to how expensive is it going to be to Star Force beyond this? How, like, you know, how many cubes do I have to throw in this to get 3% more stat? Maybe this is a good idea to do now, right? So that's kind of how you look at the whole.
I wasn't really using those calculators.
Yeah, that's fine.
I was basing it all on like how it looks to me in my head, you know, because of like using just head math basically.
That happens. That works for a while, but after a certain point,
and I'm at the point where that's why
it gets too complicated.
I'm at the point where I'm stuck.
Yeah, and you don't. Yeah, you shouldn't feel like you have to be able to do that in your head. Like, I can't do that either. Like, once you get past 250 or like you're at 260 something and you want to optimize your hyperstats, like you throw it into a calculator. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not a... I kind of just go by what I think looks good, but I could be off by like a few percentages. I know that I'm not off by like 15% final damage, so I feel confident enough about that. But I could be off by like 1% final damage or something. But at the point where I'm at, it's not the end of the world.
Gotcha.
Okay, so flames makes a lot more sense.
A lot more sense, and transposing too.
Yeah, and transposing. Yeah, exactly. We kind of took that one while we were going for it. So the only thing left, like, to determine would be like which equips we choose for the accessory sets, right?
Accessory sets meaning?
Yeah, so like you know the part where we split up between damage and drop meso combination.
Oh, yeah.
So for damage, you would definitely want all of the superior pieces to be in there. Because of the set bonus, of course.
At the moment, I'm missing maybe my earrings.
So what's your current potential on the superior? Do you know that?
It's like 2... wait, which
I think the game is up,
actually,
so you could probably check.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I think so.
I can...
Well, it should have been up like 50 minutes ago, so I'm hoping that it is.
In that case, I can log into Maple.
Yeah. Maybe you'll be in there in like 15 minutes.
Oh, game is up? Okay. I guess I can stop playing Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Oh, but I have to close the launcher to launch the game.
Oh yeah, I love that one. Cause you tried to click it once when it was down.
Yeah, I
so
did.
Now pretends like it doesn't know what you're trying to do anymore now.
That's stupid.
It could be my laptop where you close down the launcher, but it's you now also have to go into the task manager to look for the remnants and then force close that one first. Otherwise, if you reload it, it's still gonna act like it doesn't know what you want. End task. Oh, and movies, TV, Office are all open again as well. Love it. Microsoft Store. What is all this bloatware, dude? Why does this just turn itself on? Photos? Why is all this shit on all the time?
Oh, the Microsoft crap.
Oh, and it just, you don't do anything and it just opens itself up again in the background. It's like I'm running an old ass laptop with limited resources. Why would you just throw programs out there that I'm not using?
There is a way to disable them.
Maybe.
I'll let you know in Discord later when you're not streaming or something. It's like if you click on the Windows button right now and you type in background, and you'll see background apps. Make sure you open that, and then you'll see like let apps run in background. Turn it to off. Make sure that is off for you. If you have it on right now, that will turn all the Windows crap off.
Oh, look to that. Oh, wait. I think this shit is in Dutch. Achtergrond. Oh. Background, it didn't know what I meant, but background apps, it doesn't know what I mean. Okay. I guess it's because I closed the search feature. I did stop being able to search properly.
I know. I am on Maple right now.
Turned all of them off. Fuck them.
Oh, I'm getting feed requests. Thank you, VEY Path. Oh, is that
more Paladins, guys. That sounds like a Pathfinder.
Maybe?
No, that sounds like a Pathfinder.
I
We need
don't
more
know.
Paladins.
It is TY Path. Okay.
The
so
path
what
of the Paladin.
What did you want me to do?
The current.
Should I share my screen in Discord or?
Might as well. The current stats of your superior Gallic stuff, because that's like the guaranteed stuff that we need to be specific for damage.
I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So superior that I have right now. Ring. This is the ring.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Then you can assume that they're all 17 stars because I want to buy the scroll and just dump it on it. And then these are the ones I was telling you that I got that I was gonna remake my legendaries on the Absos, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Then superior as I said still drop the pendant, I mean.
Yeah, drop from my okay.
Then the earring is also still drop, but I have enough now to buy a second pendant and make it damage.
Yeah, so the question is like, is that a good idea right now? What are your other? Do you have other pendants other than just the Dominator?
Other than the Dominator, no.
Like you don't have like an upgraded Mechanator or something?
No, nothing. Like I straight up went for this one.
Okay.
I was skimping as much as I can on my gear. So
yeah, well, ideally the Mechanator is what goes into the Sweetwater, right?
You can also like see my face and eye accessories will drop, no damage.
Well, it has a line of strength.
There's one line.
That's what you want.
There's one line of
yeah,
strength.
that's fine. That means you can still
the
kill
rest
things.
Of the rings, yeah, the rest of all those rings are still drop. Even when I swap out this superior, the rings are still drop.
Yeah.
Then I recently just got this kind of treasure ring also that I was. So you would say this at 17 stars is better than the event rings, or?
Yeah. So all of these rings are all meso or drop. There's none of them that have like melee. Okay. Yeah, so
there's one line strength on each, almost.
Which is great. So those rings will just universally go to becoming your drop and meso set. That's pretty straightforward. And then the greed pendant as well, the eye in the face. So that's 7 pieces already that we know. The pendant and the earring will basically be the only ones where we have to consider something depending on what you already have. So if we switch for damage, that means the superior and the Kana treasure will take damage ring spots. And then the other two, you'll have to, like the options would be Meister, but you have to get it to 17. Would be a reinforced that you buy, but you have to get it to 17.
Can I get one of the event rings?
Yeah, or the event rings, right? And the event rings will basically carry you, hold you over all the way until you go best.
Could it be better than solid?
As long as you aren't planning on star forcing past 17 on the solid. If you do, then the solid will get better.
Yes.
But that's a lot of money.
17.
What you can do is, if you have 2 event rings, you basically fill those slots. They become pretty much equivalent to 17 star, and then you don't have to spend any money until you're planning on pushing further than 17, basically. And then you can just hold on to Gollux coins until then, make the decision after that. So when
something you wanted to see, I think.
Well, if it comes to, so I guess that takes care of the ring situation. When it comes to the pendants, so for damage, you'll have we'll try to get the superior for damage and then the Dominator transposed, right?
Yes.
I don't know what the flame is right now. but you're probably still working
have
on
to
that.
do CPQ and like that whole shebang still.
Yeah, exactly. At the other, so when it comes to the drop pendants, you probably have the greed pendant, and then you could work on, if you get another dominator, you could work on that. If you get, you could use on the mechanator. Yeah, you could work on the mechanator and just hold on to the coins for superior right now. That'd probably be preferable.
My flame situation, I guess now you can see it on screen. So this, then.
If that was if you were a Dex user, then that would be pretty nice.
Yeah, and then 3% on most of my superior stuff. I mean, rank doesn't. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah. So for reference, you can now you can calculate the flame score, right? Now you can look at the progression grid,
exactly.
and then calculate and see where are you missing a lot and where are you actually already pretty close, and does not make that much sense. Again, for Absolab, you will kind of err on the side of caution and go a little bit lower because you are switching it all out to Arcane in the near future, and you're not going to be going super hard on it, right?
And these are the familiars I have stacked up, like we said before. I have none in here. Like these are just garbage right here, right?
Oh yeah, okay. So these you just wanna extract those then.
Yeah.
The ones that you have right now.
I have those. The ones I have right now is one of them is drop, and the other one is like recover a small amount or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
and since you're not,
this technically is the best I have. No ID, no
you're
boss,
you're not ID starved at all, so you can kind of skip ID familiars completely and just look for boss ones. You know how it works with leveling up familiars and fusing and everything?
Yeah. A couple of people explained it to me over and over and over, and I keep forgetting. Which even if you explain it again, I'll forget. So that one I have a general idea, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you want to make room first, right? So you want to like extract all the ones that are just clogging up your inventory first. Yeah, and then you just open them up.
What should I be going for though? Now that you say
boss damage,
what should I be going for?
Boss damage, large amount of drop rate, and large healing.
Okay.
Continuous healing, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Those will be the useful ones. Technically, a large chunk of IDs for a lot of other people also very good, but for you it might not be as impactful.
Okay.
So the last thing would be for earrings. Did you ever invest in any other earrings so far?
No. I don't think so. None.
Okay.
Whatever I'm collecting, like the IFA and stuff, I'm just collecting because I'm a collector.
Yeah.
You can see here.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah. Well, like reinforced earrings are a good thing to collect, right?
I have a one of each, basically. And then I just dropped the belts because nothing draws, like, there's no drop on belts, so I just dropped it. Then I was planning to do star forcing on these into the new earrings I get. There was no point of me keeping copies of the reinforced belts and the other ones. I kept like the earrings because I know I move out of this being a drop. I buy the damage one. I was going to star force the smaller ones into the big ones, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but you can get rid of the cracked and the solid as well. You'll get reinforced over time, and then once you get to the point, right? Look, if you look back at the steps, once you get to the point where you want to go for like 21 reinforced into
solid is gonna be useless.
Yeah, and because you'll just have like 7 or 8 or something reinforced, and maybe a few backups
like you're
on
gonna
earrings.
I was gonna save on the initial star forcing.
Right.
Reinforced, and then if any booms happen, then yeah, that's gonna be just reinforced in that case.
Yeah. I think it's earrings can drop backup. If you do get that, you can use those. But so typically in this situation, you would already have an epic or unique. What earring did you use before this one? Did you just use nothing?
Nothing.
Okay.
Like until level 135, I was in full pencilier. I had 2 Krukbrux rings, like you know those.
235.
Yeah. Till 235. Yeah, 235.
Well, you said 135, but you can't wear pencilier.
Until I was in Arcana.
Yeah.
Farming Arcana, I had full pencilier, no face and eye. I had 2 Krukbrux rings, no other rings.
And you felt weak? That's so weird.
It was like 3-shotting the mobs, and I was going with it, you know. And then like my guild and my friends, all of them just collectively
Ragged
forced
on you, yeah.
me to get carried to get the pre-quests done and like get to where I am right now, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One strong part was a young panda, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, I wouldn't buy second earring. So you could either work on the reinforced if you want to, or on or the Will of the Wisps that you have.
Okay.
Because the set bonus and the flame advantage on those on the top right, like those can still be pretty good.
Huh?
Because
the flame on this one is like 5% too, so.
Yeah,
well,
and some
I've been
attack.
keeping that for a while because of the flame.
Yeah, yeah, and well, if you move into the other pieces, right? If you do move into the Mechanator, you have the badge, you have the eye in the face, you have the cup.
This one?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the set bonus, right? The equivalent. Yeah, then you would be at 6. Okay, so it wouldn't really matter for the set bonus because 5 to 6 is nothing. You need 7 to get something. So you're fine. Whichever you want to use. If you want to use the, could you compare the two earrings to see like what the differences in range? No, the
earrings.
Yeah, that one, and then the reinforced.
Alright, let me just put them next to each other.
Is the one underneath it also reinforced?
No, they're solids. And
No, underneath the Will of the Wisps. Is that a?
Oh,
yeah.
This was
Yeah.
the one with the like 2% strength, 2% all stat flame, and this was I just got it when I was bossing today.
Right.
So it's basically just a drop one. I'm just kidding. I'll pick it up. I'll NPC it for one meso later.
What? No. Keep extra backups because you're gonna.
Oh really?
Well, if you want to get the reinforced to 21 to transfer hammer into superior, like there's gonna be a chance to boom. So you want to build up reinforced.
Oh, okay.
And like
okay,
the more
I was not doing that.
Yeah. So that's why I laid out like the whole pace of the progress, so you can see which pieces you're gonna need for that, so you know which pieces to keep and when to keep them, and based on.
So keep CRA, and
you keep the CRA pieces because we're gonna start force past 17. You keep the 140 gear that's gonna transfer into the 150. So for the earrings, that's the reinforced earrings. For the pendant, that's gonna be the Dominator pendants. For the ring, that's going to be the Kana treasure rings. Make sure that you do Princess No weekly, right? So Princess No,
that's the only
normal
one I got
arc.
since I started doing her, yeah.
So that means Chaos, Helgolux, normal arc, Princess No, like those are very important dailies, weeklies.
Okay.
And for the belt, it's going to be probably the pink. Like it could be the reinforced, but you already got rid of those, so that's fine. So we just go for the pink bean belts and build those up. But those are very easy to get because you can get it from normal if you have enough drop rate. So you don't have to like stack your entire inventory with those. But the reinforced is a slower over time gradual thing. So any of those that you keep, that you find, keep those for now until your earring is like 20 or 21 or whatever you want to go for. That's part of that stage. So you can already start doing some prep for that stage.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would probably go for the Will of the Wisps because they're already stronger, so you can just upgrade those and DMT those to get them to legendary for drop or meso, so you can reroll this one for damage.
Okay, all right.
So your damage set would end up being full superior, Dominator pendant for now that will transpose into Sweetwater later.
Sweetwater, yeah.
And then for Iron Face, you want the 2 Sweetwater pieces as well. So that's a lot of the Narrow and Commercy work for you. And for rings, you'll have the Superior, the Kana Treasure, and then 2 event rings.
Superior,
so you need
Kana Treasure, and what about Reinforced Ring?
So Reinforced Ring will only be good if you get to 17, possibly to 18, and then it'll overpower the event ring, and then even then only by a little bit. And then the risk of boom already comes in, and you need backup coins to start going hard on that. So for now, just go for the event rings, and then leave that all to later until you have more resources, and then you can make a more clear decision on where am I going to spend my resources, because you'll have more resources to spend. And then you can just go, where do I have the most backups? That's where you have the lowest risk, so that's where you push the first. And then for drop, we'll get the Will of the Wisp as the earrings, the current Iron Face that you have on. We'll get the Greed Pendant and the Mechanator, so we need to get the Mechanator up. And for the rings, we'll keep the 4 same rings that you already had, so the 4 I think they were all event rings, right? Yeah, with the
These are
Cosmos. Yeah.
For the drop, yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not wearing this
For
one.
the drop set. Yeah. Yeah, so if you do end up with different numbers of like drop and mezzo, right? Then reroll, if you have over, reroll the items that don't have strength on it first. So I think that would be like your reboot chaos ring, for example. Yeah, so if you do end up with too much, if you do end up with too much mezzo, then you can reroll that. But otherwise, most of them already have a drop of strength. So use that as your baseline. Those are like the locked-in pieces, and then the other ones, if they fit what you need, then that's fine. If they don't fit, then reroll those until you get the Yeah, basically, I would basically do what I did yesterday on the Adele, then just keep re-rolling the potentials on the boss pieces to have at least 1.5 lines or 2 lines of strength, and then you should be fine.
Okay, all right.
Right. Any of the stages, any of the items progression that you are still wondering about? Any things that you've heard of? People that were yelling at you for doing things that you can still...
They're always yelling at me, and they're gonna keep yelling at me. Don't worry about that one. But no. So it's okay to stay to 17 stars, right? It's okay to stick with 17 stars, right? That's as a starter.
For a while. It's
until
like CRA will be the first thing that goes beyond it, and for CRA, typically for CRA, you just like kind of roulette, like, okay, get it to 18. If it works, go to the next one. Everything's 18, cool. Start working on 19, and then
Arcanes, I guess,
based on your budget. Yeah, Arcanes definitely stay to 17 until you get drops for backups, and everything else is like 20 or 21. Then you can start pushing your Arcanes past 17 as well.
Okay.
But yeah, that'll depend on how many droplets you have access to, how many drops from Lucid and Will you have access to, and if you get backup drops.
Right. Yeah, that's I don't know if there's something that we haven't covered, but
yeah, I mean, I guess your inner-ability is like the top line is kind of garbage, so eventually you want to get something nice.
I was doing that re-rolling thing, but every time I press that reset button, I get yelled at for doing it off event.
Yeah, yeah, rightfully so. It's just, I mean, if you want to gamble it, it's your points. Like you go, let your freak flag fly, whatever. But in the long term, it's like you're hurting your progress in the long term. So, but yeah. As long as you're aware of that, you're okay with that. It's fine.
I already wasted like $1 million. Doing that.
There's also a change coming from KMS with like the cost for re-rolling and stuff, so it is gonna get cheaper as well. So.
Okay. So just hold on.
I would hold on, yeah. Maybe do Legion weekly if you can, and you can buy some honor experience from the shop, and maybe even buy honor experience from event shops sometimes, because it's a pretty limited resource, limited access that you have to it.
Okay.
There we go. So yeah, I think that covers most, if not everything.
Okay, yeah, I guess so. If I had anything, I mean, I'll probably ask.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, I'm live and streaming most of the time, so you can find me. Except in the upcoming few days, I'm actually going to be gone for a few days, but
whatever you're doing, I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, finally get to get out of the country for first time in forever, but it's still pretty strict. I have to be back within 48 hours, otherwise I need to get like quarantine and all that shit, so it's still a lot of rules and regulations going on.
It's crazy, right? The past 2 years, suddenly the world has flipped.
Yep. My feeling, still a little bit like my, I feel like my immune system is working. That's what it feels like.
I felt like it's working now. I always thought I had a worse immune system, and then when I got COVID twice, felt like, oh, okay, actually, I got it, but no symptoms, so.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got my second vaccine recently, so that's why it's like a little, I mean, like a mild fever, I guess, like a little, little temperature. All right.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're good. All right. I wish you the best of luck. And
thank you.
Yeah, when stream yells at you, yell back.
All the help. And and feel good with that vaccine.
Yeah. I will do that. Well, good luck with everything, and I'll see you around then.
Thank you so much, Dewey.
All right. Thanks. Yeah. Bye. Bye. Oh my god, he said Dewey. Close enough. All right. I don't. What is this background music? Oh, it's a new playlist that automatically started. Cool. All right. Thanks. No problem, dude. All right. So yeah, a lot of stuff. Some stuff was already pretty far, so there was like a little bit of a imbalance between all of the little different pieces of progress. It's definitely fine in the beginning to have like your setup build like this. But yeah, this looked like somebody was slowly and steadily progressing and then got hard carried in. And Lotus is what this looks like. And they just did flag race, of course. And that's also essentially what happened. But like, if you have this solid of a foundation with Legion and Links and stuff, you can get everything done. Especially with as solid as these numbers are for Paladin, like that's a very solid foundation. So it really all comes down to like, what pieces do you get, when do you upgrade them, and how do you actively look out for prepping to upgrade, and where do you upgrade at the time when it's available. So yeah, you look at the events, you look at what is the next big step that I'm gonna take, and always look at, is the step necessary? Step isn't necessary yet, save all your money, spend it on an event that might be better, or when you have more backups so you can more reliably make your upgrades. That way you can make sure that when you do make an upgrade, you can guaranteed make an upgrade and make a significant upgrade. Small incremental overtime upgrades are okay in the beginning of the game, but once you get to this stage, once you get to, like approaching 17 star and everything, they will hold you back. They will make it so that you spend on average more for every single upgrade. The upgrades won't be as big, so you won't feel them, and they won't be functional. If you wait longer, save your money over a longer period of time, wait for a specific event, you'll be more guaranteed to make those big upgrades, they'll be more functional, and you will feel the upgrade. And that's an important part, because your mental, after a while, you won't really feel like you're getting stronger anymore after a while. It'll just be like, oh, I guess this boss fight was a little bit faster, but maybe I just got lucky on the RNG. But if you can make a significant big bump upgrade, like you can move on to a different map and suddenly start one-shotting where you were two-shotting before, you can kill a boss in significantly less time, then it feels really good. And it feels like your money's really working for you. And all the time you invested is something that you can look back up with pride, I guess, to a certain extent, that you that all that hard work paid off, right? All right, so I will... thank you for watching. I don't know why I was starting with that sentence, but thank you for watching. And if this was informational for you, I'm glad. As always, check the links in the description if you want to join the guild, if you have information for me to help provide to the community, if you keep numbers on monsters that you kill and on your battle analyses and such to try to gather those numbers. And if you want one of these sessions as well for you personally, one-on-one, then you can find the link for that in description as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you live on stream, or I'll see you later. I'll be out of town, out of the country for a few days, but I'll be back Sunday for Guild BQ, and then back on the regular schedule on